Hey guys, AP here, and today we're going to be doing a different type of input system. So instead of using our keyboard as our input, we're going to be using our mouse. You see the little thing that's moving across the screen right now. And so I'm actually going to change a few names around. So I'm going to just say get key input, and we're going to say get key input in here as well. We're not going to get rid of this, we're just going to add a new one. So the first thing we're going to want to do is obviously add an event listener. So after all this, we're going to say document.add event listener, and we're going to say mouse move and event arrow syntax, and there we go. So with our mouse.move, every time we move the mouse, we want to reset a variable called mouse x and mouse y, which is basically where the mouse is and according to our canvas. So we have to set up some variables up here so we can actually, use them. So let mouse x equal 0, mouse y equal 0 as well. So every time we move the mouse, we want to update those variables. So to do that, we actually need to do a bit of math. It's just subtracting from a few things. So to get the first thing we need to do is we need to get our rectangle of where our canvas is. So as you can see, here's our window. We have a bunch of empty space here, and then we have our canvas. And so what we need to do is we need to get like where the canvas is in relation to this window or tab or whatever you like to call it. So we need to have a variable called let rectangle or rect. I'm just going to call it rect because most of the rectangles are called rect in canvas. So let rect equal canvas, which is our canvas object, dot get bounding client rect. And what this does, of course, it gets the rectangle according to our window. So after we do that, we can actually get the mouse X and the mouse Y from that. So to get the mouse X, we need to take the client X, so event.clientX. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. I'm just dying in the inside. So what the event.clientX is our X according to the window. And we don't want that because it can be inaccurate sometimes. Like if you're over here, the canvas will think that this stands for some random value, and it won't be as accurate as it is. So to do that, we need to subtract the rectangle dot left, which is this little wall right here. So it could actually offset it. So that's pretty good. And so to do the same for the y, we need to set all of these to y. So mouse y, of course client y, and then for this we need to set it to the top, which is this little wall up here. So rect.top. So if we do that, I'm just going to have console.log mouse and y. So console.log mouse, if I can type, mouse and mouse y. Oop. And if we do that, we got our canvas. As you can see, every time we move a mouse, it updates our position. So we can go up into this corner, and you could go like -1. So like you can obviously get out of the canvas, but it's still in relation with the canvas. And so if we go to this corner, it should be 800, 600, which it is close to. And then this is the middle at 400, 300, and there we go. So we have ourselves an accurate mouse X and mouse Y. So what we can actually do with that is we can actually say the player should move to that X and Y. So we don't need the key input for right now. We're just going to say, we're going to actually add a new one called set position. And this is obviously going to get an X and Y for our new position. And we're just going to say this dot position is equal to a new array with the new X and Y's in it. So if we go back into here, we could say player.set position to, let's say, mouse X, mouse Y. And if we do that, we have ourselves a player object that's following the mouse, which is pretty cool, I guess. So we can, of course, it'll go off if you go off. It'll move around as fast as you go with the mouse. It's still like not fully tracking it because 60 frames is still not fast enough if you're really fast with it, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, that is some mouse input. But say you want to detect when we click the mouse, if you could hear me click the mouse, you could probably do it, but whatever. So we can do that with another event listener. Shocker, right? So, ooh, I need some semicolons there for organization. So let's add another event listener. We're going to just say mouse down, and that's going to be the same as here. And we are going to be doing some variables for it. Okay, so to do that, we need to have a variable called mouse button, and this is going to be, of course, a string because it's similar to key. And when we get the mouse down, we obviously need to set mouse button to event dot, and it's button this time instead of a key because it's a mouse and not a keyboard. So if we do that, console.log mouse button, console.log mouse button, and just get rid of this so we can actually read our text. And if we go in here, get our canvas. And oh, it's a number this time. It isn't. So if we right click, it's 2. If we middle click, it's 1. And then if we have any other mouse button, which I do, is this a mouse button? Okay, that's just a mouse setting button. Okay, hold on. Let me get too fast. Try to find my mouse speed. There it is. Okay, so basically it gets the mouse button, which I thought I would return a string like the key, but it didn't. I might have just opened my Discord accidentally. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, the mouse cord opened accidentally, so it's not actually a button, it's actually a number, so we can set that to that. So yeah, okay, so now say we wanna, I'm not trying to download that image, what the heck? Okay, so say that we want to change the color every time we click a certain mouse button, so we can say get mouse input, and then whatever the button is, button. And we need the state, of course, because obviously we're going to get the up and down as well. So, or actually, yeah, we're going to get the up and down. So if the left button is down, which is 0, we're going to say if, or we have to say if state first, obviously. Well, not obviously. I say obviously a lot. It's weird, but whatever. And so if button is equal to 0, which is the left one, as you saw in the console.logs, we need to say, we need to change our color. So we actually need that as a variable, this.color, and by default, it's going to be white. So just copy that. And so when we fill this, fill the rectangle, we're going to say this.color instead. And so if we click it, we're going to say this.color is equal to, let's just say red. So red is FF and then 4 zeros. 4 zeros. And so the next thing we have to do is we have to get if it's up. And if it's up and it was a left click that was up, we're going to set it back to white. And so now we need a state. So I'm going to say key state is that, and then mouse x dot mouse on, and then we need mouse state. So and that's equal to false by default. And let me just put this in the correct. And so when we set the position, we also want to say get mouse input, and then whatever the button is, which is mouse button, and then mouse state. So to do this, we need a mouse up event listener. So we're just going to copy this, and then have mouse state equal true, if it's pressed down, and then equal false when it's not pressed down. Mouse up, mouse state equals false. I also have to change the variable name for these two things. So that is going to be it for our mouse input. So we can move it around. If we click, it'll be red. And if we let go of it, it'll turn back to white. So there we go. We have ourselves some input with the mouse and keyboard. We can do some specific things, like if we want a webcam, we can do that. If we want a sound, we can do that. But that's a different time. That's for specific uses. Like, say you want to make a Omegle 2. Is that what it's called? Omegle? Alright. Well, whatever it's called, if you want to make another one, you can use the webcam API for the browser. But right now, I'm just going to use the keyboard and the mouse for games. So there we go. We have our mouse input. We can actually combine both of them. It might get a little weird because, yeah, it's trying to move, but it can't because the mouse is overriding it. So, of course, if we say, or if we get rid of that, we can actually sort of combine the two. So we can move it around with the mouse or move it around with the keyboard, but if we click, it'll turn red. So there we go. There's a little sort of demo for you. It's not really a game yet because we're just getting keyboard in. And actually, just to less clutter this, I'm going to add a new JavaScript file. This is just going to be called events.js. And this is where all the input's going to be, just to get out of the way for right now. So we get all of this, just put it in the new file. And we need this to be added before the index. So I'm just going to put it here, events.js, and there we go. So nothing should be changed. It's just for organizational purposes. So it doesn't clutter up the main loop. And we can actually add more events here if we want to. But for right now, that'd be it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, please make sure to hit the like button. Really helps. If you want to see more of these tutorials, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.